What's going on, everybody? This is Lamar, and this is another TFG TV news alert. And I want to talk just a little bit about the South Carolina Senate race between Jaime Harrison, I almost forgot his name, Jaime Harrison, and the incumbent, Lindsey Graham, who's been in office for about 25 years. And I'm quite interested in this debate that I just saw a couple of days ago. I was very interested in it. I sat and watched this thing from beginning to end. I know everyone hadn't looked at it. Everyone's not looking at it since it's not the presidential debate. But I think that the Senate debates are just as important, if not more important, than the presidential debates. And if you had an opportunity to watch it or read up on it, or just hear me talk about it, give you kind of a quick update, I think you'd be quite interested as well. And Lindsey Graham had a very difficult time in this debate. Why? He tried to stick with old school talking points, political talking points. And every time he attempted to give a talking point, Jaime spanked him. What do I mean by he spanked him? He called him out on it, called him out on his crap. He knows Lindsey's record. He knows his voting record. He knows everything. With that being said, he called him out on, again, his record. He called him out on things that he said he was going to do. One of the main things he called him out on is back when Obama was attempting to have Merrick nominated as the Supreme Court Justice, and it was almost about over 8 months or so left in the year before the election, and he was totally against it. And he said, mark my words, use my words against me, that if it's in the same year, even if it's a Republican, I would not be on board with nominating a new Supreme Court justice. Let it be left up to the American people as they vote in a new president, and let that new president decide who the new nominee should be. That's what he said. And we've seen the tape played back over and over and over and over. However, now Lindsey is changing his tune, just like Ted Cruz and a lot of the other guys, McConnell. A lot of the other guys are changing their tune as well as it relates to what they said back then. How does he try to make this lie make sense? Now he's saying that that the Democrats were not in power at the time in the Senate, and that this is a different ball game because the Republicans are in power in the Senate. Therefore, it's up to them to be instrumental in choosing a nominee or confirming a nominee. Doesn't make much sense. I know it don't make much sense. It doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not some super Democrat or super Republican that I'm stupid enough to not understand that it is about power. It is absolutely about power. It is absolutely about who's in control at any given time. I would have never said or made that statement back when Obama was trying to confirm someone. If I was the majority in the Senate, I would have just said, no, you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican. I don't want you to choose a Supreme Court justice because it's going to be against what I stand for. And in this instance, a Supreme Court justice that Obama would have nominated, or that he did attempt to nominate, is going to be a liberal justice. What is a liberal justice most likely going to do? They're going to continue to vote on the liberal side, if you will, as it relates to LGBTQ rights, as it relates to being pro-choice, as it relates to health care, Obamacare, if you will. And Republicans do not want that because it's against their value system in a sense. So, of course, if the Republicans have a chance right now to put a conservative judge on the bench, they're going to do that because they want to potentially overturn Roe v. Wade, which makes it legal to have abortions. They want it to become illegal to have abortions, right? Because they're pro-life. In addition to that, health care. They want to chip away at health care, at Obamacare, I guess that's what we call it. They want to chip away at Obamacare. And that can be done from the Supreme Court. As it relates to LGBTQ rights, they don't necessarily agree with all of them, if any. So they want to overturn some of those. So there's a lot of things, a lot of fundamental differences that Democrats and Republicans have, or conservatives and liberals have, that are affected depending on who's on that Supreme Court. So I get it. So I don't really fault Lindsey Graham or the rest of the Republicans for going back on their stance on it. But I just don't like the fact that they're liars. Don't lie and change and renege and all that. Just be honest. They're afraid to be honest. And that's one thing I liked about Jaime, though. He was super honest with his stances. Now their stances, there's nothing special about what either of them believe, because Lindsey is a straight conservative and Jaime is a straight Democrat. He may be a little moderate. I don't know, moderate Democrat, but he's straight Democrat. Their beliefs are on those lines. So there's nothing really special about either of them. One thing that Jaime is not, he's not a fan of defunding police. He's a very smart man, so he's smart enough to say no defunding, but let's reform, which is the smarter talking point versus saying defunding. Now, the problem that Lindsey ran into is that he kept trying to say things about Jaime that just were not true. He said that Jaime said that he was for defunding police, and he never said that. Just like he and Trump and others and McConnell, they said that Biden said he was for defunding police, and he never said that. Now, one thing that my buddy Ricky, who's probably watching and who you see on my show every Monday night, on not every, but most Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, TFG Tonight, where we talk politics with a panel, that if you listen to only one news source, you'll begin to believe just that news source. And they can tell you anything. If you only listen to Fox, and Fox tells you that Biden said that he was for defunding police, and you don't listen to any other sources, then that's what you're going to believe. That's all you know. You're not hearing anything opposing that. So you have to diversify what you watch and what you listen to. That's why I watch Fox, I watch CNN, MSNBC, BBC from Europe. I watch the Kenyan news. I watch all of it, everything I can, to try to get as much information as I can from both sides. Because even you just watch CNN, you're only going to hear negative stuff about Trump and the Republicans. And you may hear some stuff that may not be true. And that's just the game. Everyone's trying to represent their side. And that's just the way the game is played. That's politics, ladies and gentlemen. That's politics. As relates to healthcare, they talked about that as well, of course. One of the hot topics. There's a lot of ambulances and fire trucks just passing by. So again, they talked about healthcare. With healthcare, Jaime is definitely for, Lindsey told it for him. He didn't have to even say it. Of course, he's for Obamacare. He's for everyone being insured. And the way that Democrats are attempting to do that now is by continuing to have Obamacare. However, Lindsey stated that, or asserted that, Jaime wants more and the Democrats want more. They want a universal healthcare system that's controlled by the government, where it's taken away from your employer, it's not connected to your work, not connected to your job, where it's controlled by the government. And they feel like that's going to increase, that's going to take away competition and increase cost. Is that true? I can't tell you. I don't know. And of course, they both fundamentally disagree on how COVID was handled. Graham will constantly say he feels like Trump handled it okay, even though Trump says ugly things about him, that he was the stupidest person that he knows. He's still up Trump's behind, and no matter what Trump does, he's happy with it, it seems. And he's playing politics. And Jaime was smart to point those inconsistencies out in this debate. Overall, in this debate, it was great. Jaime, I almost called him Jaime. Jaime was standing behind plexiglass because he didn't want to take any chances with Lindsey Graham. He's sure Lindsey has had some kind of contact with Trump, I'm sure, so he didn't want to take any chances. They were 11 feet away, their podiums were, and he still had a plexiglass between the two of them. But it was a great debate, and polls are showing, the latest poll is showing that they are neck and neck. That alone, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely bananas. That Jaime Harrison and Lindsey Graham, who's been in this position for 25 years, are neck and neck. in South Carolina, of all places. The other senator is a Republican, but it's a black Republican, Tim Scott. So if Jaime were to win this, which I really think he is, you're gonna have both the senators for South Carolina are gonna be black, one Republican and one Democrat. I honestly think they'd be able to get some things done together. I really do. I really think they would. I think they would, and I think that'd be interesting to see. So why are Republicans turning tide or not supporting Graham as much as they normally do? Who knows? I think people are just sick and tired of the same old politics, the same old politicians making promises and not keeping them, and playing politics, you know. And Lindsey continued to complain about how Jaime's out earning him. He's getting so many donations. And Lindsey is crying about it. He went on the Fox and cried about it, and then when they kind of made fun of him, he talked bad about them. So he's really having a hard time raising money. Looking forward to seeing how it goes. I will say, as I close, that I do not necessarily want the Democrats to take over the Senate and have control of the House and Senate and presidency, executive branch. I don't want that. And again, while I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, I'm an independent or moderate, whatever you would like to call me. I'm right in the middle. I don't like the fact of one party having full control. I think there needs to be a checks and balances system to look out for everyone. And they should be forced to discuss and negotiate and to debate to get things done and represent the people that follow them. Without that, I think it's full-on tyranny. One party is going bananas and making lots of changes, and it's just too much. Anyway, this has been a rather long TFG TV news alert, but thank you guys for tuning in, and I'd love to see your comments.